Hello! Hello again. It is I, StarScream, the ruler of the galaxy, and I've come back to explain to you all about this new discovery. There's a new discovery in Giza, in Egypt, where the pyramids and stuff, and I'm sure some of you have heard, but I'm gonna explain it to you. I'm gonna tell you all about the new discoveries. This is brand new discoveries, okay? And so what happened was, there's this team, these guys, and they use like some satellite technologies and stuff like that, and they scanned the Giza plateau, okay, and they found some stuff. They found some really fabulous stuff. This team, they used this fabricated aperture radar, and so they're called the Fabricated Aperture Radar Team. And what the Fabricated Aperture Radar Team did is they scanned Giza and they found some stuff. And I'm sure some of you have already seen the scan data, and you're probably thinking that this is just a bunch of random noise and like scattered signals and chaos. But I assure you, this is some top science, okay? I'm gonna explain it to you. All right. So, in order to explain it to you, we're gonna have to talk about this pyramid, okay? The pyramid, and So I will apologize. My 3D modeling skills are not as good as theirs. Okay, the FAR team, their 3D modeling skills are far superior to mine. But we gotta talk about the pyramid. And as we all know, there's only one pyramid. There's only one. There's no other pyramids, okay? Don't worry about it. And this pyramid is really great. It's a really great pyramid. and everybody loves it. All the other ones don't matter. There's only one. And so, from what we've already been told from the FAR team, is that there's underneath the pyramid, there are these tubes, and they go down 16 kilometers, way below the water table. Don't worry about it. And these tubes, they go way down 16 kilometers, okay? Which seems really deep, but don't worry about it. So they go down 16 kilometers, and they get all the way down to this box. This box is like, it's like a tesseract or something, okay? And this is part of the technology, and don't worry, I'll explain it. You puny earth creatures, don't worry about it. But what the FAR team didn't tell you is that these tubes, they continue down another 32 kilometers. They keep going down. The tubes, they go down. They go down all the way into the inner core of the earth. They go down really far. Okay. And then I'm gonna explain. Don't worry. I'm gonna explain all about it. Okay. So the pyramid. Okay. Now, from what we already know about the pyramid, it's really great. And what else can I tell you about it? I'm sure you all know from the internet that on top of the pyramid, there's this golden capstone thing. It's just got like an eyeball on it or something, and it spins around, and it floats on a pile of mana. and I'm sure in order to have something like that, you probably have to have an industry for refining and mining and manufacturing mass quantities of gold. But it's too bad there's nothing like that on the Giza plateau. And so there's that. But that's not the most significant part of it, okay? I'll tell you the really significant part. In order to do that, we have to go inside. We have to go inside the pyramid, okay? Inside of there. So when we go inside the pyramid, there's this little room there. There's this one this one little room that's inside the pyramid, and don't worry about all that other stuff that's in there. That's not important. There's one room in there. Okay, this is one room, and inside that room, inside that room, there'd be this guy. This guy would go in there. This guy, he's kind of like a He-Man. He's got like no shirt on, and he's got like this boner skirt that we don't know why, but he's in there, right? And you might ask, how did he get in there? Because there's no doors to the pyramid, right? So how did he get in there? Well, I'll tell you. So down further on the plateau, there's this Sphinx enclosure, right? And as we all know from listening to like Graham Hancock and John Anthony West and those guys, that the Sphinx didn't used to be a Sphinx. It actually used to be a statue of Battle Cat and He-Man. Because He-Man was the only one who could lift the blocks around. Well, except for the Levites. You know the Levites? They were, I'll tell you the story about the Levites, okay? Okay, so it goes like this. So the lofty lounging lizards, they did look longingly upon the lordly Levites as they lifted large loads all the livelong day. Never mind that. Anyways, so listen. Okay, so there was a statue of He-Man and Battle Cat. And as we also know from listening to Graham Hancock and Robert Buvall and Joe Rogan and those guys, we know that it was all built 12,800 years ago. We don't know how we know that. And the entire plateau would have been underwater at that point. Never mind that, okay? So, there was this guy, this shirtless boner skirt He-Man guy, right? And he would enter underneath the left paw of the Sphinx, okay? The cat. And he would go into the secret underground system that would lead to the inside of the pyramid. And then when he was inside the pyramid, he would do a whole lot of drugs. He would get like really high. He would get like so high you don't even know. He'd get really high in there. He'd hotbox in the box, and then he'd lay down inside of that long box that's in there that's just perfectly human sized. Even though a lot of people who try and lay in it, they say it's actually not very human sized, but don't worry about that. I'm sure it fit this guy perfectly. And when he did that, it would activate. It would activate the system. And then, okay, so the pyramid would lift up. It would lift, and it would go all the way up into space. It would go up into space, and then it would turn into a Tesla tower. Okay, and anything that has the word Tesla attached to it is suddenly magic and science and stuff like that. So you understand. So it would send out this like frequency wave. It would send out a frequency wave into space, and then the aliens would come. Now, I'm sure some of you who've watched a lot of Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock, you would probably be thinking that I'm talking about brain aliens. You know, the kind that come when you're doing a lot of drugs. But no. No, they were not brain aliens. Pan-dimensional, etherical brain aliens? No. They were Sasquatch aliens. Okay, so listen. So this is what happened. So the Sasquatch aliens, they would come in their ship. They would receive the signal, and they would come in their and they would park above the pyramid, and then they would unleash their technology. They would unleash their alien technology, which is the Jed lasers. the Jed lasers. Okay, and listen, this is good. So the Jed lasers, they would fire inside the pyramid, and then the guy who was in there, the guy who's in there, he would receive all of the knowledge. He would download all of the really important stuff. And as we all know, the really important question that needed to be answered is, how do you build a pyramid? And that's what he would learn. He would learn how to build a pyramid. Even though you might ask, why? How would there have already been a pyramid there? Don't worry about that, don't worry. Well, you wanted to know, so I told you. And don't think that anybody else out there on the internet is going to be able to tell you any better than me. I'm StarScream, so I know these things. I know all the things. All right. I think I covered everything. That's pretty good. Well, what else could I do? You want me to sing you a song? I can do that. Should I sing a song? Well, ooh. Well, I close my eyes only for a moment, and moments gone. Oh, my dreams pass before my eyes with curiosity. Ooh, dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Oh, dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Now, don't hang on. Nothing lasts forever but the earth and sky. It all slips away, and all your money won't another minute buy. Oh, dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Dum dum bum bum. All we are is dust in the wind. I didn't need a rehearsal. Enjoy. And good night. All of your questions have been answered. At least for now. And I'll be back someday to tell you something you didn't know. Goodbye, Internet. All right, thanks for watching. And if if this explanation of the pyramids isn't good enough for you, I recommend that you follow Geoffrey Drum, who has a channel called The Land of Chem, and he's put a lot of effort and time into actually figuring out what the pyramids are for. And other than me taking an hour to explain it as best as I can, I would highly recommend you watch his videos and his on-site visits to various sites in Egypt and Saqqara, and he will tell you all about what the pyramids were actually for. And I recommend you support Joffrey and his work. And other than that, that's enough of StarScream for now. Or unless you want to ask me something, I'll do another Ask Me Anything video. Just maybe, if you're lucky. Anyway, good night.
Down the tubes. Hear that one a lot. People say, the country is going down the tubes. What tubes? Have you seen any tubes? Where are these tubes? And where do they go? And how come there's more than one tube? It would seem to me, one country, one tube. What, does every state all of a sudden have to have its own tube now? One tube is all you need. What, a tube that big? Somebody would have seen it by now. Somebody would have said, hey, Joey, look at the fucking tube. Big ass fucking tube over here. You never hear that. You know why? No tubes. We don't have tube one. We are essentially tubeless.